Crypto market is still in red. And the question of whether we are going lower, much lower, still exists, and people speculate that we are going all the way down to 10,000, 15,000. Now, what do you think? Do you think there is a possibility we may reverse? But we do have to first look at, are people moving their assets into an exchange to cash out, get out of the market, or are they staying in the market thinking there is a possibility that the market is going to reverse? Now, if you look at it and see what really is happening, now market will be volatile. Take this, that's for sure. Market will be volatile. With what you see in macro, you do consider the market is volatile right now, and you have a lot of different level of resistance. But if you break this level, 0.3 or 0.29, close to that range, we are going lower. Fine. But what we have to look in mind is our supports. If we go back, learn from history, there is something which we have to take and move forward. Because if you remember, a week back, I was highlighting this, right? Okay, the flows into the exchange is increasing, and especially towards fiat exchange is increasing, which means the price may drop. And that's why I was actually saying like 20-30% of drop may actually come. And right now we are kind of 30% drop, but the market still suggests like, I'm not done, I'm still hungry for more blend. So what's it actually going to be? How low can we go, right? Let's break this down. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So we actually get an edge in the market to understand the market so we are not losing money. Now, that doesn't mean you won't see red numbers in your portfolio. You will. When you close, that's when you lose money. Otherwise, you hold the asset. Now, markets don't like uncertainty. You have to understand that. At least investors don't like uncertainties. So right now, this is one of that. And this was one for crypto a couple of days back. And it's been speculated from some time, right? Now, it turns out that no, that amount of supply is not going to come into the market anytime soon. And it's not going to go out. Meaning, people were saying, okay, that's going to come, people are going to sell. But rather than looking at these, which would most likely be creating volatility for sure, but that's a short-term event. It's not going to change the macro structure. What does change the macro structure is the fundamentals. So when we actually look at what really is happening, for me, crypto is not going anywhere. And with what Binance talked about for payments, really actually for me points out like, okay, this is going to be massive. Because when CZ Binance gives you an understanding of what he thinks, that's going to be a big stuff here. And one of the examples which I would like to show you is a retweet from Anders actually. When you actually look at that, okay, Nokia was big. When I was a child, Nokia was everywhere. Right now, I can't even see one. You see Apple, you see Samsung, LG most likely, right? Why they did not adapt to the technology? Same stuff is going to come because when CZ Binance put this perspective here, now you know what works inside this. If you have moved your funds at least once in Bitcoin, Ether, XRP and others, now we know which one is better in terms of time taken, in terms of the amount you pay as fee. You are now well aware of that. So when these guys actually go into this, that's what I really mean. These kind of stuff change the long-term game. And people will slowly understand, okay, this XRP community, they're not mad. They know something. They have done their research. And we will reach that point. But one scary thing which I'm looking at is like, depending on what your perspective is, if cash is going out completely, that means everything is going to be digital and most likely central bank digital currency. So this is 5 years. And I believe we are going to be on the central bank digital currency by that time. Now, That was just the understanding of what short-term volatility versus macro looks like. But now we are actually going into the charts. Fine. If you are looking at Bitcoin right now, you can definitely ask the question like, okay, are we actually going all the way back down to zero, or say possibly $10,000? You can. Now, definitely you can. Why won't you? Right? We are all in the market, human being. We need to know what's happening. This was the previous high, the last all-time high here. And we hit that level and even breached that for a little bit and came back up. Now we are retesting that range. So am I saying like, okay, we are going to 10,000? No, I'm not. Now, am I saying we are going to 100,000 right now? Maybe eventually, but not now. What's important right now to look at is, are we going to hold this level of support which we hit previously? Because when you actually try to look at it, you will see something like this. This was your all-time high. When you went back up after going into a bear market, you tried that area and that stayed. Then you broke above that. And when you came back, it happened to be a support. So that really is a valid support resistance zone. So you can't completely neglect that. And then when you are looking at this, one thing you have to understand is like in a bear market for Bitcoin, you dropped 86%. In a bear market here, you dropped 85%. So say, give or take 85% is what you see in a bear market. Inside this market cycle, you saw Bitcoin dropping 70% and this one 75%. So we need to actually see like, okay, we have a lot more institutions here. And what are we going to actually do? Are we going to do 90% correction? Because they really don't want you to make money for sure. They want you to sell and them to buy at a lower price and make more money. Basically, right? Now, if you look at this, each time the price came here, the RSI kind of signaled you like, okay, I'm actually bottoming out. And zooming in, you kind of actually get that picture, which is a little bit clear for me. Like, okay, you reach close to this range, 35, 30, or even below that. Okay, it's painful in terms of price, but it kind of gives you an opportunity to understand, okay, the worst is done. The worst is done. Fine. Then you go here, look at the next one. You hit the bottom here. At the same time, the RSI went below 30. Great. Now we come look at this one. Again, the RSI hit that level. So if you are looking at the market and trying to learn from the market, at least being a student of the market, I would say, okay, this time we hit this level. The market came way below all these. You hit a first time stuff here, which is like 24 in last 7, 8 years. Now that for me shows like, okay, most likely you actually made a bottom. Now, in terms of RSI, the highest odds is like this. You hit that level, you went up, but you're still going to come a little bit lower to see whether the buyers are strong enough. So now you also look at this and say, okay, there is a huge possibility like, okay, this really is a falling wedge and that's a bullish signal, but we don't know whether we're going to test this bottom again and bounce. You cannot deny that the market can do that. This is crypto market. It's crazy, right? But without huge doubts, you can say like, okay, the odds for me does not actually think like, okay, it's not like 50-50. I would actually say at least 60% probability based on all these factors and all the other steps which we went through in the Patreon. Like, okay, we actually saw this using various different tools, and now those are like, inferential statistics. These are like the differential easy stuff which we actually do, like the descriptive statistics. Fine. And those actually show you there is a lot of possibility that you're bottoming out or you're close to the actual bottom. Now, if you go on to XRP and ask the same question, like, okay, do you really believe we are going much lower? Now, you can't neglect the fact that this trend line is still there. Agreed. But the price is not going up to retest this range. We want this to go up. We are waiting for that, but that's not happening right now. You're seeing a lot more selling pressure coming back into the market, slowing down. So to be positive, to stay hopeful, for Bitcoin and XRP here precisely for us, you do plot this line and say like, okay, there is a small range which I think is here, and most likely if you break below that like this, that's going to be painful. You're going to come here 0.3, and if that does not hold, then yeah, you're looking at 0.25, that range which we were back in 2021. Right? The price may drop. Now, what are the odds of you saying, okay, I think there is a lot of possibility that the price may go higher, right? Why wouldn't it? Okay, what is that logic? If you are looking at this was a lower low compared to the previous one, and this was another lower low created by the market, where the RSI is suggesting you, no, I'm bottoming out. It shows you a higher low. So historically, when you really want to look at this, you can say like, okay, this was something similar. You made a lower low, but again, the RSI also made a lower low. So it also trended in the same direction. Then the other stuff which you can look at is this one, where you made a double bottom, where the price made a double bottom and the RSI showed I'm trending higher. Fine. So our price did not start trending higher, but the RSI did. And in that particular case, if you look at this, the price actually went up close to 170%. Now that does not actually look like 100x, but it is 100%, 200% move. So if the RSI can stay here, 27, 30, close and bounce, that's a good thing. Now that's on a daily chart for XRP. So if you take all this out and go look at the macro to see like, okay, is the pain over? You can actually say like, okay, in the history of XRP, most of the time 33, 30 was kind of the area where sellers are moving out. And right now, if you look at this, we hit 28, 27 range, came back up, now slowing down. So the possibility for me to say like, okay, there is a lot of possibility we may make a bottom here, because not only the RSI is oversold and it does not have too much room to the downside, this range, if you look at, is also a long-term range. You've been resisted, you've been supported, resisted, mix of stuffs happening from like 5 years. And if that breaks on technical side, you're like, okay, now you're going lower, 0.2, 0.25, that range first. And if you take out the trend line, okay, that's not something we really want to see in terms of price, unless you want to buy more. Now, I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I've been buying this for a long time and I believe the fundamentals for the long run, because I'm observing this happening literally. Because before Binance, now he's a genuine guy, but he never used to kind of push XRP like this, right? Give it a credibility of it can be used for payments, right? But right now that's happening, and I'm like, okay, that really means something huge, because these guys are actually moving together with regulators around the globe. So that for me is like, okay, something big is coming. Now, I don't really want to say like, okay, I dropped an asset and it went up. Now, that happens. That happens a lot of time when I was trading. It used to happen with me. So that's why the macro and the fundamentals are so important. Now, if you are looking at this right now, okay, what do the exchanges show you? BTC flows to the exchanges are down, especially the fiat exchanges. I would say like, okay, so not much of people are actually running out of the market saying, okay, we are going to $10,000, right? It's not happening there. Now, the next question is the supply side of this. You look at like, okay, BTC held for short term, people are increasing, they're buying more. It's not like they're running out. It's like, okay, they're buying more. Then, if you look at this range, BTC with a 25% is now down, negative. And if you go here, look at this. Okay, those who are really short term, they're down. They're moving out. But when you look at this in percentage, it looks big. But what you really want to look at is this number is increasing. But you put that into value perspective and you see like, that's the short term guys. And this is the medium and this is the long term guys. So if you're serious, you're long term, you want to follow the money which is flowing to that direction. If you are a trader, you're in and out of the charts, you can do that. No worries, you can do that. If you're a medium term guy who's ready to hold from 2 weeks to 5 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, this is that group. So compared to that, you see like, okay, what short term trading means. Because the volatility looks like this, but the actual value is like this. So short term, it's going to be really, really volatile. Now you come to the same stuff in Ether. You go to the demand side first and you're looking at the demand side. Fine. Are you seeing a lot more people going out? Because, there was a point where I highlighted this in the group, right? This does not look good because the inflows to the exchanges are huge, because the demand side here, you're looking like, okay, people are running out into fiat exchanges. Fiat exchanges, meaning exiting the market, was like 140% up. And moving to other cryptos or stable coin was 100% up. So for that reason, I highlighted this back then saying, okay, guys, I'm actually thinking like this may actually drop, right? And we saw this. So right now when we are looking at this, okay, something is changing. Not a lot of people are actually coming into the fiat exchanges. It's slowing down. Great. Now you actually go look at the supply side of this. Fine. You look at the supply. Liquid ether is increasing. So people are buying. And those who are holding for less than 1 year, it's decreasing. So you do see short-term guys getting kicked out, liquidated, moving out of the market. And then you come here to see like, okay, what we saw in Bitcoin and what we can observe here. So the value of short-term guys look like this, teeny tiny bit. Medium-term, long-term is kind of similar here, right? Whereas in Bitcoin, there was a huge difference. So that means a lot more trading within that 52-week range is happening inside this. And then you go out to look at the percentage of change. That is much more volatile in Ether. So you see like, okay, even the short-term guys ran out, medium-term guys ran out. Why did they do that? Because this was happening and that was a huge possibility, right? And that didn't happen. Long-term guys, they are holding. Even though the value of medium and long-term looks like this, long-term guys are still holding because they have a long-term perspective, ultra long-term. So if you are here in the market with short-term, this is how it looks like. We have to go through that volatility. There is no other way you're going to make money. And if you're here for medium-term, at least from this point, okay, you do see volatility, but not like this, but you have to reduce the noise from the market. So what do you actually think? Now, I personally think like, okay, there is a possibility you're going to actually try and hit this level of 18,000 or stay within this range and make a bottom and bounce. But if you think we are going to $10,000 and you have your own justification for that process, do let me know in the comment section below. So guys, if you are actually looking at that, make sure you put your time in, you understand what are the points raised and see like, do you agree with that? If not, take the note. Like, okay, why don't you agree with that? And if you think that's really valid, great. Now we got a new point. Like, okay, no. I want to look at the market like this, not like this. Great. Because when the market actually moves, if you are in the altcoins, we are all at least in XRP. So I'll say altcoin market looks like this. Last all-time high, this is your support zone. You came back, hit that level. Now you are here. So a test of this range will most likely come as we are looking at this. We need to see a bounce from here. The RSI is close to the resistance, but we have not broken higher. Great. But the MACD crossed to the upside. So that's a little bit of positive step, which we can see in the market. But right now, Ether is again moving down slowly, making those pain. Now, exchanges, whales, they are going to do this. When we go downside, they push maximum to the downside. So you are out of the market. When we go up, they push maximum to upside. So you buy way more and they take your profits. Right? So when we are going down, do consider that as an opportunity or red flag, because this is similar for Ether as well. You look at the strength like, okay, this was really painful. The next time was even though more painful, it provided a big opportunity. Now we are here and bouncing from there. So you need to make a decision whether you see like get out of the market or stay in the market. So guys, if you received value for your time here, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. And if you want more updates, I will be following up through on a regular basis. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye-bye.